Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms. And I would like to welcome you back here to the Lightning Flash Update on YouTube.com. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. This is the Lightning Flash Update for April 6th, 2018, as we sit just 2 days away from WrestleMania 34, packed with some action-packed matches, legendary stars, superstars in the making. It's going to be a damn good weekend. We got the Hall of Fame tonight as well, and we are going to get straight into the weekly show reviews. I don't really have that many reports, which is kind of ironic for you, since this is WrestleMania weekend, and the reports should be flying like mad, but the reports are going to be very mellow, and I'm going to talk a lot about what went down this week in wrestling. Monday Night Raw was a very lackluster show, as per usual. Angle, Rousey, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon all faced off to kick off the show. They really didn't do anything. It was just a common sit-down segment. Angle says that Ronda's going to make Steph tap out. Ronda basically says Steph's still going to be signing her checks after she rips her arm off. Steph says that you're going to respect authority. And then Ronda Rousey actually choked out Triple H for a moment. Triple H took out Kurt Angle. And Ronda Rousey had like a Tongan death grip that would make Haku proud until Stephanie McMahon put her through a table. That was that. Really, that really didn't do anything. But obviously, we know the mixed tag match should be somewhat of a decent match. It's going to be Ronda Rousey's debut. Next, we had Bayley versus Sonya Deville. And might I also mention that trophy for the Women's Battle Royal looked like it was worth $4. You can do better. You can really do better than that, WWE. God, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy looks better. And not just because it's named after Andre the Giant. Bayley defeated Sonya Deville. Banks came out to make the save after Absolution attacked Bayley. A brawl started up again, and Absolution then stood tall after Absolution took out Bayley and Sasha Banks. Blah, blah, blah. This was actually a very good segment. The next one, Miz was congratulated on being a father by the commentary team, and I'm going to congratulate the Miz on giving, now he's going to probably go and raise his kid after WrestleMania. Congratulations to the Miz and Maurice on Maroon Sky Mizanin. The match between Rollins and Balor was a fantastic match. I knew it was going to be fantastic. This was probably one of the best encounters that these two have had, maybe since SummerSlam. I really enjoyed this match. Rollins and Balor really took the fight to one another. Near fall after near fall. Great spot after great spot with the double foot stomps. That headlock spinning elbow driver. The superplex, sling blade. Finn Balor actually kicked out of that Revolution knee strike. Rollins then won with the curb stomp. A fantastic match on Monday Night Raw. Probably the best thing about Monday Night Raw last Monday. The Miz stood tall on the announce table, and the Miz said to Rollins, I could see him mouth, you better bring that at WrestleMania. But very good segment and a very good match between Rollins and Balor. And then apparently, my mood went from excitement from that match down to disappointment and anger, because now I found out that Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander are on the pre-show. Why would you put Cedric and Mustafa on the pre-show? Why? But look at what Buddy Murphy and Kalisto did this past Tuesday on 205 Live, and I'm going to talk about that. They had a Fatal 4-Way 2 weeks ago, which was probably the best match that week in wrestling, and then Buddy Murphy and Kalisto did it again this week. After everything that Cedric and Mustafa have done to basically tell the story of two men, two underdogs who just wouldn't quit, who just wouldn't stay down, who just would not die, why would you put them on the pre-show over Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax? You're really going to put Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax on the main show when it's really just going to be a 2-minute squash, or Carmella's just going to swoop in and cash in her Money in the Bank contract? Cedric and Mustafa Ali, you give them 15 minutes, they could put on the show stealer. Mustafa and Cedric, they have actually one of the few matches on the show that could end up stealing the show. Why would you put them on the pre-show? if you're going to put him on the pre-show, if this is going to stick now, because there was actually a petition going around on Twitter to take them off the pre-show, if this is going to stick, then the best route to go here is to put these two on the final match before the pre-show. This has to be the final match on the pre-show before the main card. If it's not, I am going to be incredibly disappointed and incredibly heated. Heyman and Angle had a segment, and Paul Heyman, obviously, we all know this whole Roman Reigns-Lesnar feud is pointless, but Heyman actually made me laugh because Heyman was staring at Angle with a smile on his face saying, wait a minute, you're worried about Brock Lesnar's physical well-being? And he's laughing and cackling. I'm sitting there laughing my ass off as well, because anything that Paul Heyman does, it's just great. It's fantastic. Great television, great segments, great promos. Heyman can do no wrong. Heyman can do no wrong. The Bar then addressed what's going to happen at WrestleMania. Braun Strowman then came out, and the Bar actually wanted to see Braun Strowman's partner, and Braun Strowman said, yeah, he's back there, and he's a lot like me. Now, when I heard that, the first thing that came to my mind was Samoa Joe, and I thought, oh God, everyone's going to be marking out for Samoa Joe. Braun Strowman's music hits, and he comes out with a white lab coat and glasses, and he calls himself Reigns Strowman. I mean, Strowman always finds new ways to entertain the crowd. He did the same thing with Elias in that Symphony of Destruction match. He played the big bass. He threw Roman Reigns around in an ambulance, and now he comes out dressed as probably a steroid version of the Dudley Boys, and he just then fights off the Bar by himself. And that was pretty much it. I got a laugh out of it. And that was pretty much it. Then we had Goldust entering the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Matt Hardy then defeated Goldust, or as he calls him, Dust of Gold. And then he hugged the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy. What Matt Hardy's doing right now, I'm actually hoping Matt Hardy wins. Cena again cut a promo on The Undertaker, and there's still no Undertaker, and I'm actually glad that they did this. I was hoping we would have gotten the American Badass, but I'm happy Cena did not get The Undertaker. And he said, you left your balls at home. The crowd obviously chanting Undertaker, but he didn't come out. So you know what? Cena's going to go to WrestleMania as a fan, and you know what's going to happen? I damn sure guarantee it that The Undertaker's going to show up. He's going to call out Cena, and we are going to get a match at WrestleMania. Elias is obviously preparing for his greatest performance of all time. I think that they're going to be doing Elias and The Rock, but I'm not entirely sure about that. Elias then defeated Heath Slater. That was that. Braun Strowman then threw Kurt Hawkins through a wall, which I laughed at. Then we had a pointless Nia Jax segment where she's basically talking about how she wants to be a role model for all girls, how she's proud of what she has. Obviously, they're promoting the Be a Star campaign, which is I have no problem with that. I am firmly behind the Be a Star campaign. But this is pointless. This is a pointless 13 Reasons Why ripoff. By the way, that show's terrible. It's a pointless ripoff of a bullying TV show, and it's basically done nothing to get anyone excited for what Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss are going to do. It's basically going to be nothing but a squash. If Carmella doesn't cash in, it's going to be a squash. If it's not, they're doing something wrong. Asuka and Dana Brooke then defeated James and Bliss. Nia Jax then came out. Bullshit. No one gives. Then we get to the main event segment with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Brock and Heyman addressed Roman, and let me tell you something. They keep on bringing up they brought up the Undertaker's undefeated streak, and Heyman said, when I said that the Undertaker was going to lose and the streak was going to get conquered, that was a spoiler. That little streak line, anytime Heyman mentions that still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I'm probably the biggest Undertaker fan that you will find, and every time that is mentioned, it always just brings back a bad vibe that I had back at WrestleMania 30. But Heyman basically said Roman was Lesnar's bitch. Roman actually tried to be all high and mighty when he came out. He tried to say, all you superstars, all you full-timers are gonna help and protect that part-time bastard. Are you serious? Are you for real? You're really gonna go there again? How many times have you said that already? And by the way, look, I'm sorry, but Atlanta, you are gullible as hell. You are gullible as hell. You're basically saying, Atlanta, for those of you who were chanting Let's Go Roman in that part of the segment, you are horrible. You're horrible. I was relying on you, Atlanta. I was relying on you and you let me down. You're basically saying you're okay with being manipulated by Vince McMahon to like a manufactured puppet. Anyway, I actually took a shower at this point because I couldn't care less about this segment because who gives a shit about Lesnar and Reigns when obviously you got AJ Nakamura, you got Balor, Rollins, and The Miz. Who's gonna care about this? As a matter of fact, when this comes on at WrestleMania, I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to turn it off, and at the end of the match, I'm just going to tweet, that was a complete embarrassment, and WWE should be ashamed to call themselves a wrestling company. That's what I'm going to tweet. Roman dropped Lesnar with a Superman punch, and Lesnar hit him with an F5. That was it. Raw was terrible. Now we get to SmackDown Live, and this was actually a fairly decent show. Bryan and Shane kicked off the show, and they apologized to each other and hugged it out. They're obviously getting on the same page. Kudos to Shane for showing up after he just went through a hernia and diverticulitis. I got to give a lot of credit to Shane there. Charlotte then defeated Natalya. It was a good match, and Carmella once again tried to cash in, and she failed. And then Asuka came out after the match, and we had a face-off between Asuka and Charlotte, and that was pretty much it. AJ Styles then had a promo backstage. I like what they did here. AJ Styles said, Nakamura trying to play mind games, and he patted me on the head as if I was a dog, but this Georgia dog bites back. So, obviously, they're hyping up the WrestleMania match. Aiden English and Samir Singh then had a sing-off, which was pretty entertaining, by the way. Not even going to lie. I would actually love to see a sing-off between Elias and Aiden English in the future. That's actually my dream segment for WrestleMania in the near future. Rusev then defeated Jinder Mahal. It was a decent match. And then Randy Orton and Bobby Roode faced off, and Roode handed the title to Randy Orton. Obviously, signs of a Bobby Roode heel turn, they're showing up here and there, and hopefully it comes around. But by the way that Rusev stood tall in that match against Mahal, it really doesn't look like Rusev is winning the championship. I do have some news on Rusev when we get to the news, rumors, and reports section. But if Rusev is not given the U.S. title, WWE's doing something wrong. I'm sorry. Shinsuke then cut a promo, and he basically said he came to America for one reason. He came to America for WrestleMania. And he said that when AJ Styles is emotional, he will make a mistake, and Nakamura will be there to capitalize. Corbin and company defeated Ty Dillinger and company. This was basically just a filler match. I was actually getting some ice cream ready because I wanted dessert, and I wanted to do anything else but watch this match. Normally, I'm watching the show in its entirety. I'm not really skipping anything, but this was basically a pointless segment. Then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn actually came out, and they stood on the announce table, and they were saying all this stuff about how they're gonna embarrass Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, and Sami actually insulted Brie and Bryan's daughter Birdie, and he said they're gonna be chanting, "We deserve it. We deserve it." Sami Zayn as a heel has done wonders for Sami Zayn's career. If they're going to go ahead with Bryan and Shane defeating Owens and Zayn, I would like to see Owens and Zayn go to Raw as a tag team, and they could fight Strowman and Joe for the tag team titles. You really have a lot more opportunities with Strowman and Joe as tag team champions. This led to Bryan and Shane coming out, and they just sung goodbye to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And then in the main event, Styles and Nakamura defeated Benjamin and Gable. And Styles, he was looking right in the eyes of Nakamura as he delivered that phenomenal forearm. And then this time, I actually called it. I called it. AJ Styles saw Benjamin and Gable attack Shinsuke. AJ fought him off, or AJ watched as Nakamura fought him off, and AJ was on the apron, and he went for the phenomenal forearm, but he stopped as Nakamura was holding his head down, and Nakamura looked up, almost with a sarcastic smile, and AJ just patted him on the head. AJ faked him out. Like I said, these two are proving you don't need physicality. You don't need physicality like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns in order to build a great storyline. Great segment to end SmackDown, and I couldn't be more excited for Styles and Nakamura. Next, 205 Live. 205 Live, as always, was great. Gran Metalik and Lince Dorado versus Hideo Itami and Akira Tozawa actually ended in a disqualification. Things are starting to get very interesting. Things are starting to heat up between Hideo and Tozawa and the Lucha House Party. I could see a lot of things coming out of this. I could see a possible heel turn for Hideo Itami coming out of this. I could also possibly see a tornado tag team match between the Lucha House Party and Itami and Tozawa. And I could possibly see Itami, Tozawa, and the Lucha House Party fighting for the very first ever Cruiserweight Tag Team titles. I would love to see that in the future. Then Andrews versus Gulak was announced for next week, and I'm actually glad it was announced for next week because what we got in the main event was fantastic. Gulak then cut a great promo, and he basically said he could choke out Mark Andrews because he could. And then we had Tony Nese defeating a jobber to get Nese a win. And Buddy Murphy and Kalisto, I really didn't think it was possible. But Buddy Murphy and Kalisto, they put on the best 205 Live match of the year and probably the best 205 Live match of all time. They were chanting 205. They were chanting this is awesome. They were chanting fight forever. I didn't think anyone could do it, but they trumped. They were able to trump Mustafa and Gulak. A match that basically meant nothing trumped Mustafa and Gulak. That's how good Triple H has made 205 Live. This match had everything. Kalisto took about 3 death bumps in this match with a suplex on the apron, and then he got monkey flipped onto the announce table. Buddy Murphy suffered a corkscrew roundhouse kick and a sunset flip powerbomb, and then Murphy won with Murphy's Law. If they're going to go with Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander at Backlash later this year, I am all for it. Go ahead and do it. Great episode of 205 Live. Now we had NXT. NXT was very good as per usual. Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong versus the Authors of Pain. It was shaping up to be a very good Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals. But, it ended in DQ, courtesy of Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. And Regal, he came out, he goes, you know what? It's very smart. Very smart. No winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, no challengers, but not smart enough. And Regal made it a triple threat match for the tag titles and the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Cup. This could very well echo the triple threat tag team match last year with DIY, The Revival, and the Authors of Pain. And I can't wait to see this match. I really can't. Gargano and Ciampa actually had a promo where they had them both sitting down like I am, and they gave them their inside thoughts on how the whole feud came out, how the whole scenario was. I thought it was fantastic. I really liked the way that they were portraying it. It was beautifully edited. And this, I'm telling you, like I said, if you missed my NXT TakeOver New Orleans rundown, I posted it yesterday. Go check that out. I'm going to say the same thing that I said in that rundown. Ciampa and Gargano could put on a 5-star match rated by Meltzer. If Meltzer rated Gargano and Almas a 5-star match, this could be equally as good, if not better. Next, Kairi Sane then defeated Vanessa Bourne. I actually thought that this was just going to be a squash, but it actually turned out to be a decent match. They gave Vanessa Bourne a nice amount of offense. Kairi Sane ended up winning in the end. Lacey Evans cut a promo in the back. They are starting to build up new women to challenge, perhaps for the Women's Championship or challenge bigger stars in the future. I'm all for that. She actually called out Kairi Sane. I'm actually interested to see how that turns out. Black and Almas also had a promo. Very interesting promo. Very interesting video package. It was well put together. And Black and Almas, they could put on a very good match at NXT TakeOver New Orleans. It probably won't be match of the night, but it'll still be a damn good match. Probably one of the matches of the week. Black and Almas, I like the way that they're portraying Aleister Black. Just calm, cool, and collective. Just saying things. No, like, barely any intensity behind him. The calm, cool, and collective nature of someone is always the most interesting, and it's always the most... It's almost the most intense. It really gets to you. It really sticks to you. It also plays a lot of mind games with you. Same thing with Nakamura and AJ Styles. How Nakamura was playing the mind games. I can't wait to see what they do in New Orleans. Then, Lars Sullivan versus Killian Dane was actually interrupted. It was interrupted by Velveteen Dream first. I think he was going to do a dive out on one of them. And then Adam Cole came out. EC3 came out. And all five of them were just staring at each other. Face to face to face. And Ricochet's music hits. Ricochet walks out. He does a backflip off the middle rope and lands on his knee as if he's a superhero. Takes off his hood and he's just looking around at everyone. This North American Championship match is going to be fantastic in every sense of the word. Could very well be a match of the year candidate. Call me crazy. I can't wait to see how NXT TakeOver New Orleans turns out. Now, to the news, rumors, and reports. So, starting off the news, rumors, and reports section of the Lightning Flash update. According to PW Insider, apparently, Rusev asked for his release, and WWE put him in the U.S. title match to keep him from leaving. Now, couple things. I do not know how true this is, based on the report that I read last week, and I reported it on the Lightning Flash update last week, that Rusev was put in the U.S. title match due to his recent increase in merchandise sales. I don't know how true this is, but if this is true, WWE has really got to realize what they have in Rusev. They got to turn Rusev face, and they got to give Rusev the United States Championship ASAP. But again, I don't know how true this is. I don't really think it's that true based on the report I read last week, but we're going to watch and see what happens. If Rusev wins the United States Championship, good for him. If he doesn't and he leaves, we know that this would have been true. Next, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, by way of cage side seats, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar is expected to be the main event of WrestleMania 34. I had to step away there for a minute. Because I'm currently trying to keep myself from losing my sanity at this rate. So Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar is expected to be the main event of WrestleMania. I am extremely disappointed to hear that, but I'm not surprised. I hope you all know that I may look calm, cool, and collective right now, but on the inside, I'm ready to break my chair in half, okay? I'm going to talk about this for a few minutes before I move on to my next report. Why would you put Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in the main event of WrestleMania? Why? Just because they got the most views on YouTube? People only watch that to see Roman get his ass kicked by Brock Lesnar. They hate the man. He is hated every city he goes to. The majority of the crowd boo him because they don't want to see him, they don't believe in him, and they don't care about him. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar doesn't deserve to be the main event of WrestleMania because A, Roman Reigns didn't win the Royal Rumble. B, the WWE Championship is the most important championship in the company. C, Roman Reigns is not deserving of a fourth WrestleMania main event. D, you're really going to have a part-timer in the main event of WrestleMania again? How many times does Roman Reigns need to main event WrestleMania before enough is enough? After 31, it should have been enough. Triple H was terrible. Undertaker was terrible. This could be equally as terrible because, remember, the Brock Lesnar back then actually put effort into the things that he did. It wasn't just suplex, so 2-3 suplexes and an F5. That match with Roman Reigns, yeah, it was good. But then again, Roman Reigns, he was much more liked back then as far as the time that we are currently in right now. Because back then, people were actually supportive of Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns actually got cheered back then. Plus, Lesnar actually put effort into the things that he did, and he wasn't as lazy as he is now. We could get a terrible 7-8 minute WrestleMania main event. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. I really wouldn't be surprised if they did that. I'm going to say it again. I am not watching this match. I'm not going to tweet about this match. I'm not even going to acknowledge this match. Once this match takes place, I'm going to let it roll, turn it off, and I'm going to tweet. That was a complete embarrassment to WrestleMania. WWE should be ashamed to call themselves a wrestling company, and I am going to leave that tweet up for as long as I want to on my profile. Moving on before I turn into the Incredible Hulk. According to Cage Side Seats, there's some speculation that Bray Wyatt could be Braun Strowman's tag team partner at WrestleMania now. I am not completely against this because, A, Bray Wyatt, he needs something relevant to do at WrestleMania. 2, Bray Wyatt, he could really benefit from feeding off of Braun Strowman's popularity. Plus, it would give Bray and Strowman 2 well-deserved championship victories and 2 well-deserved championship reigns. But at the same time, with Samoa Joe, like I said, you have a lot more opportunities with Samoa Joe, because if you move Zayn and Owens to Monday Night Raw, you can have that match. And again, like I said, why would you want to pass up an opportunity to have a Battle of the Behemoths tag team match between the Authors of Pain and Strowman and Joe? Plus, you realize what it would do for the Authors of Pain? You realize how good the Authors of Pain would look coming out of a match beating Strowman and Samoa Joe? And not only that, you can stem off a feud with Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe after that to insert one of them into the Universal title picture down the line. You have a lot more opportunities with Samoa Joe as Braun Strowman's tag team partner than you do with Bray Wyatt. I'm not going to be completely mad with Bray Wyatt, but I'm going to be a little disappointed that they didn't pick Samoa Joe. And my final report of the day, listen to this. Dave Meltzer reported that Vince McMahon knows that the fans expect The Undertaker at Mania, so he's going to bring him back for revenge against Cena at the show. Now, a source told The Observer that Vince thinks announcing the match will not lead to more network subscribers, so Vince is keeping The Undertaker's appearance till Mania. I actually like this idea. I'm actually interested to see where they go and how they really introduce The Undertaker to WrestleMania, since he's never been featured on any Raw. There has been no lightning, no gong, no thunder, no pyrotechnics. It's just been Cena. Just Cena talking. So I'm very interested to see how things turn out between The Undertaker and John Cena. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I would like to thank each and every one of you who tuned into this video. Do not forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at TheDJStorms. Do not forget to check out the Lightning Flash Update last week. Do not forget to check out the interview with one of Rescue Mania's top main event stars, Gunner Trash, which I posted on Wednesday. Do not forget to check out the rundown for, did I say the rundown? I said the Eye of the Storm with Gunner Trash on Wednesday. Do not forget to check out the rundown for NXT TakeOver New Orleans. I posted that yesterday. And do not forget to check out the rundown for WrestleMania 34, which I will be posting tomorrow. I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update. You guys have a great weekend. I will see you tomorrow.